Hi everybody, welcome to today's book review. It's going to be about Space Runners, the Moon Platoon, which is a book by Jeremy Kratz. And the main character is Benny, who basically wins the lottery, gets a trip to the moon, this is the year 2085, I believe, and a couple of people live on the moon by a scientist named Elijah West, and they basically just live on something they call the lunar Taj, which is a space station on the moon, which is really big, a resort basically. So he gets selected with a couple of different friends he meets. The first one is Drew, which is the senator, Drew Bob Lincoln. He's the son of a senator, lives in Washington, D.C. And at this point, basically, this is a science fiction book. So at this point, Earth in this book is drained of all its materials. Climate change, as you know. So the environment is really, really bad now. So Benny and his friends, his family, live in a caravan. The book gives a bit of reference to his mom, but not much, only that she left her dad when he was a kid. His dad actually died in search of looking for water. They were ambushed by a gang. And so this would happen somewhere near the south of America, the southern states, and it's basically complete dry desert. He lives in a group of caravans, which is basically a car that people live in, and some people call them homeless people, but they just have a community. He lives with his grandma and three brothers actually. So he wins this great trip to the moon, and it's something he needs to prove that's good. His father died, although he really looked up to his father as someone who always helped other people in need. So he always remembers him and gives reference throughout the book. And as I said, Drew Bob Lincoln is basically a spoiled kid from Washington. His father is a senator. And they also meet someone named Hot Dog, which is a girl who lives in Texas. We don't know that much about her background except, she lived in Texas. Another part is Jasmine. She's a Chinese kid, I think. Chinese? Definitely Asian. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Chinese. Jasmine Wu. She's an orphan. She's been to a lot of foster homes, and each of these kids have their own special field, you could say, that they're good at. So for example, I'm not sure about Drew, but Hot Dog is a really good space racer. So they have cars in space, which you can drive in. She's really good at that. Jasmine is pretty good at solving problems and other skills we see later in the book. But soon they find out that there's something really, really fishy here when a huge amount of asteroids smashes part of the lunar Taj. And they realize the classical sci-fi alien invasion is happening on Earth. Mind you, Earth. So the asteroids are going to attack Earth with basically a bunch of stuff, and they're going to destroy the Earth. And Elijah West, who basically through half the book has been idolized as someone to look up to and reminds Benny of his father, decides that he got these smartest kids in the world, 100, to get on this trip to the moon. And he's just going to stay here in an underground tunnel and basically rebuild humanity. But Benny wants to save Earth. So what does he do? He gets 50 of the other kids and he trains them to stop an alien invasion from Earth. I'm not going to spoil the end, whether they did it or they didn't, because this is a non-spoiler review. So what are my thoughts on the book in general? Fast-paced, action. It's textbook for sure. It's a bit like Alex Rider, but for sci-fi, especially the alien invasion part. But it does have its own taste. What do I dislike about the book? Well, here's the thing, right? I feel like Benny is too perfect. He knows how to solve problems. He's a good leader, and his only problem, physically at least, is he doesn't have any money, but that's not really a problem emotionally for him, right? And I don't blame the author, because you see this in a lot of books. But I think the goal of this is try to make the character more likable, but it's less easy to compare to. What's unique about this book is, first of all, the bad guy, Mr. Alien, he's He's an interesting character because he's not completely bad. In fact, their species is better than humans. They don't go usually waging wars on other countries, while on the other hand, we have World War One, World War Two, and other things like that. So we have waged wars in our history. They have not, and they have taken care of their planet better than us, which is an interesting aspect because a lot of books don't really give the bad guy some form of goodness, but excuse me. But I sort of feel like when you want to create a character that you like or dislike, you gotta give them something to connect to, whether it's them being good or being bad. So I definitely really enjoyed that part of the book. A couple of things that I wasn't so convinced on, which means they could have done more to convince me on this certain part. First of all, pardon me, how does Benny get the support of 50 kids to suicide their life and try to blow up an asteroid? All he did basically was give them a not so good speech, and that's pretty much it. So I feel like you gotta have some more challenge in that part for them to. Also, they definitely need more challenges. That's for sure. There isn't that many bad things that happen to them, and they are really lucky. Also, final thing, okay? I really like this about the book because I think that the 4 characters have a great mix of personality. So Benny is a bit humble. He's more like a leader. Jasmine is very smart, good at, and Hot Dog is a great pilot, although maybe a bit arrogant. Drew is a spoiled kid, but he really actually deep down inside wants to spend time with his father. And I think these 4, they make a great combination, which is why I definitely like the book. This is told from a narrator's perspective, so it's not I ran down the stairs. It's Benny ran downstairs. Okay, I said that a bit fast, pardon me. So, in overall, to conclude, a couple of points on this book. Really good. The bad guy is realistic. Definitely very realistic. Also, the great combination of characters. Constant events, constantly changing. Make sure you have to keep up to date with the whole thing. What I dislike, Benny's too perfect. Not enough challenges, and there's some points which they could have hammered in more convincingly. So conclude, this is a great book to read, definitely very fun and definitely very enjoyable too. And I would recommend it, so I give it a 4.5 out of 5. The only part being more challenges, more creative, and they need to hammer the points in more so it becomes more convincing. So thank you for watching my book review. I hope you learned something or enjoyed it, and if you liked it, make sure to subscribe and click a like. It really means a lot to me, and thanks for watching Chapter 1.